Dog, it's time to rock. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special episode here on the channel. It's my pleasure to introduce to you a couple of outstanding people. One person in particular, the first person that's going to come on, if you are a regular to the channel, you'll be aware of her and her contributions, especially in the Van Halen community. And she is always a great supporter of our show here. So just keep waiting. I'll tell you who it is. And she's going to introduce our second guest for the show. And that, too, ladies and gentlemen, will be an interesting show. So we do appreciate any questions you have for any of the guests that we have on. I'll do my best to get to those questions. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe to us and we'll subscribe back to you. I think that's all I'm going to say. But ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Please offer a warm welcome to Holly Lewis. Here she is. Hey, oh, it's Eddie.
Hi, Andrew. Oh, wait, it's the wrong show. Sorry, Eddie. You got to go. Sorry about that.
Oh, good to see you.
Hi, Andrew.
Fantastic. It's been a long time. We've been talking about getting you on our channel for a long time. I suppose the good thing about this show is that it's going to give people an opportunity, Holly, a bit of experience for her to jump on, talk about a couple of things with us, and then she's going to come back and I promise she's going to do a Van Halen show with us. She aren't you?
I hope so, Andrew, because, you know, I love me some Eddie Van Halen. I do.
Yeah, look, and we know that you do. And on behalf of the Van Halen community, I want to say thank you for all the work and support that you've been doing. I'm going to present you because behind you, you have your poster, your Tinkerman poster. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll attach Holly's Facebook group link to this video. So if you're not a member over there, please go and support what she does over there.
Tinkerman.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you.
No problem. So we got some people in the chat too. Quickly, we've got the Rock Professor. We've got the Rock Professor here. We've got Jeff T here, and we've got John ZD351. So we've got at least 3 or 4 people watching us, Holly.
Oh, I wish I knew how to see them.
I'll put the comments up there. So
okay. Hi, Simon. I hope you're having a good vacay in Spain.
And there's John ZD351. Viva the lefties. John is a left-hand guitar player too. So
nice.
So he'll be keen to see what our second guest has to say. But I do certainly look forward to jumping on with you and Brad and Hoss and talking all things Van Halen. We've got that planned. We're going to do something in September with Holly, guys. So keep an eye out for that one. But you've got I'm going to hand it over to you because you're going to talk about some connections for us.
Yes, Andrew. And listen, I wrote this thing, you guys, because I didn't want to leave anybody out or miss any dates. So I'm going to try and just kind of read off of here. I hope I don't get too boring. Please don't fall asleep.
No problem. No problem. This channel loves people that go and put a lot of effort into details, Holly. So feel free to be as detailed as you want.
Excellent, because I'm going to do my best. This is my first time, Andrew, ever being on a podcast. So
welcome, and thank you for picking us to do that. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you for having us. All right, so just to introduce myself very shortly, I've been a professional singer and keyboard player in bands since 1980. Hey, Paulie. Hope you're feeling good, my brother. I started playing when I was 19 years old and continued to work in the music industry up until the pandemic hit.
Sure.
I lived in Nashville for 30 years. I'm 61 now and really wish I could get a Facebook to come on here. But it is what it is, okay? But I'm here to tell a story about a gig I was hired for when I was about 42 in Nashville. So here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, after watching your Jimi Hendrix live at the Monterey ranking the track show with Brad and the rock professor on August 7th, a couple of weeks ago, it reminded me of a gig I got to do about 20 years ago with Billy Cox, who was Jimi Hendrix's bass player when they played at Woodstock. I hit up my dear friend Steve E. Williams, who is a band manager and music producer, to see what he remembered about the gig. He helped put the band together and was the person who hired me. I got the call from him to sing background vocals for this gig. I think because I was somewhat older at the time and I knew Hendrix's music. I grew up on it. And at that time in Nashville, country music was mainly at the forefront, and most of the singers were much younger and probably wouldn't be familiar with the material.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Yep. Yep.
On March 1st, 2003, Steve took the beautiful Trez Gregory, the other background vocalist, and me over to Billy Cox's childhood home near TSU, or Tennessee State University, where we sat in his living room and auditioned for him. We sang together a cappella right then and there and got hired for the job. He was a very nice man and was very gracious and welcoming to us. I brought my Hendrix record album that day for him to sign. And I sent you a photo of that, Andrew. And the album I had in my collection was The Cry of Love. And I looked it up, and it's a posthumous, how do you say that? Posthumous record. And unfortunately, Billy was not on it, but he graciously signed it for me anyway. So that I've kept with much love, and I'm so glad that I have that. Excuse me. A rehearsal was set up on March 15th, 2003 at SIR in Nashville in room 5, which is one of the small rooms. Yep. And the rehearsal was from 1 to 4. Ha. How do I know this? I called them the other day to see if they had the record of the room rental, and they did. And it was also noted that there was no charge for the room rental. Maybe because Billy was a living legend. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay. Gary Sirkin, one of the other guitar players for this project, a lifelong Hendrix aficionado and music historian, helped put this band together, which they called the Gypsy Experience. Boy, would Gary love to be here right now on this show talking with you about Hendrix, Andrew. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, he passed away in May of 2020.
Okay.
I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge him. I think I sent you a photo of him.
So, do you want to go through those photos now, or should we go through the photos after your introduction?
Well, I don't know if you wanted to show the picture of Gary right now, but we can do it later. It's up to you. You're in charge.
We'll go through later. You carry on with your introduction, and then I'll go through the photos, and you can describe the photos because I'd hate to get them mixed up. Thank you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gary was a Nashville staple, and if you were in the blues scene at all or went to Rock Block Guitar Store on Elliston, you knew Gary Sirkin. I'm sending love out to his daughter, Jamie, who I sent the link to the program. And I just want to say thank you, Gary. I wouldn't be able to tell this story if it weren't for you.
Wow.
We love you and miss you. I guess we only had the one rehearsal at SIR and one other vocal rehearsal at KJ's house in East Nashville that she remembers. I'll get to her in a minute. She's the reason we are here today. The gig was on March 22nd, 2003, just a week later. That's how it rolls out in Nashville. You're expected to do your homework and show up for rehearsal or to the gig just ready to go.
Yep.
I'm sure you all have heard of the Nashville number system, which helps musicians chart songs so they can walk in and play them. I still have my Billy Cox notebook, trying to figure out how to show you guys this, which had all the lyrics in it that I used at the gig. And I wanted to show you this one page. Hold on, give me a second. Because I got tickled when I saw it. Here it is. It was for crosstown traffic. And
Wow.
if you can see, I don't know if you can see it, help me out here, but it
Yep.
says kazoo. And then the first line is like, doo doo doodaloo doo doo. Which was, you know, doo doo doodaloo doo doo. And we were playing a kazoo. And I'm just going to tell you that it's not as easy as you think to sing through a kazoo into a microphone. Your lips are all vibrating and it kind of tickles. Okay, so Andrew, after I saw your Hendrix show, I reached out to Trez Gregory, the other background vocalist. She was the only person I was still in contact with on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
She went on to sing background vocals for Brooks and Dunn, a country band, in case you haven't heard of them. She's an amazing vocalist and an amazing person. I asked her if she had any brain cells left about this Billy Cox gig because I didn't. And she said, yes, Holly. The gig was in Pensacola, Florida, and we flew down there. I couldn't even remember where it was or how we got there. I just remember being in the hotel room and on the stage. I asked Trez if she remembered who the left-handed girl guitar player was who was in the band. And she said she did and would try and get in touch with her on Facebook. A few days later, she found her.
Wow.
And then I was so excited. And then KJ got in touch with me and we began talking about our memories of this gig and what she had been up to recently. KJ remembered that the gig was for the Pensacola Film Festival. A movie called Blue Wild Angel had been released the year before. It was a Hendrix live at the Isle of Wight. And KJ can tell you more about that and about the woman who invited Billy and the band to come down and play.
Cool.
So, according to the itinerary, which KJ found hers first, but I also have one in this book, we flew out of Nashville on March 22nd, 2003, down to Pensacola. We arrived a little after 3 p.m., went straight to the hotel that we stayed in that was right on the beach because I took some pictures of it. I guess we must have turned around and gone to sound check at the Seville Quarter, which is that picture of that building I sent you. And sound check was from 5 to 6. We probably ate, went to get ready. Yes, that's it, the Seville Quarter. We probably ate and went to get ready. And if my notes are correct in this book, we played the gig around 10:30 p.m. They had set up a stage outdoors in what we think was a parking lot behind the Seville Quarter restaurant. And it was probably about an hour-long set, and we opened the show with Voodoo Child.
Wow.
I know. God. Oh, my gosh. And I hope, KJ, we can talk about some of the songs we did, because she played them. I just was singing the backgrounds. Okay. I had brought a disposable Instamatic camera with me. I took a couple of pictures of Trez and I getting ready in the hotel room. Then at the gig, I handed it to some strange audience member and asked him to take photos of us while we were playing. He got some awesome pictures of my nose hairs. Just Andrew, I sent you some of those photos whenever you want to show them. But I do want to thank this person for taking those photos, or else I wouldn't have any. Billy Cox was, of course, on bass guitar. Gary Sirkin and KJ Ashton, in my English accent, Ashton, were on electric guitars. Trez and I were on background vocals. And none of us can remember who the drummer was.
Oh, okay.
And there is not any photos of him. However, his name is on the itinerary. And so if anyone out there in YouTube land is watching this and knows who Ken or Kendall Anthony is, please get in touch with us. We would love to hear how he was doing. And then just to wrap this little section up, I'm sure we hung out after the gig and talked to the people who were in the audience.
Okay.
We flew back to Nashville the very next day. It was very quick. Boom. In, gig, out. I stayed in touch with Gary Sirkin, the guitar player, off and on through the years. And he did ask me once to get back together with Trez and do another Hendrix gig, but it never happened. Just scheduling didn't work out. I ran into Trez once when she stopped into a bar where I was working at hosting one of my karaoke gigs. KJ and I lost track of each other until last week. And as I was talking to her and listening to her stories, I said, oh my God, KJ, I have got to see if Andrew will let us come on his show so you can talk about your Hendrix stories and your guitar playing. So here we are. Thank you so much for letting us come on, Andrew. And without any further ado, with your permission, I would like to introduce the left-hand lady, the one and only KJ Ashton.
Yay, here she is. Hey, KJ.
KJ.
And the crowd goes wild.
Good to see you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for jumping on with us, Holly. What a wonderful introduction. Give me a yell when you want to go through those photos, okay? That Holly made reference to. But it's a pleasure to have you on here with us, KJ, the left-hand lady. There's a few people in the chat here saying hi to you. I don't know if you can see the chat, but I will throw up some of their comments. If you guys have any questions for KJ and for Holly, please fire them through. Like I said at the intro, I will do my best to answer them. Ask them, sorry, not answer them. But this show is about... Yeah. This show's about KJ and Holly. So I'm serious when I say that. But KJ, tell us your story. How did you get involved in music? Tell us your journey, please. Where did you begin?
Okay. Well, I began very, very young. My dad played sax. Music was all around me. He was a jazz enthusiast. And I heard those jazz standards very early on. He gave me a harmonica. I started playing a harmonica or trying to play it. We used to goof around with a Octavia. He would call it a potato. And I would be like, Dad, let me play the potato. And then he actually Actually, my first kazoo was a wax paper on a comb. Okay, Holly, that was my first kazoo.
I remember doing that as a kid. Yes.
So yeah, it kind of, you know, it came back to us, you know, later on in life, those early journeys. But yeah, started out with my dad. My grandmother played piano. My uncle played piano, and my aunt played piano. Okay, so weekends at Nana's house was a musical household. My cousins, she was raising them. They sang, and she taught them how to play piano. But I couldn't play. So when I would try to play piano, thinking, oh, I want to be like my cousins. And so I was like, gee, let me sit at the piano and try to play something on it by ear.
Sure.
So okay. So I would sit there on the weekends and tinker on it. And my grandmother would come out of her room from watching, you know, television. And she would say, let me show you something on the piano. And I didn't want her to, you know, I didn't want her to show me anything. So, you know, I would get this urge to play. And then we would go through this song and dance. Then finally, I would sit in the corner and pick up her Stella 4-string guitar.
Yep.
So finally, you know, when you get into this, you know, Holly, when you get into this zone where you're like all of your imagination just expands and you get this mood and creativity happens. Well, that's what happened with that guitar. And then my grandmother came out and said, oh, you're playing the guitar. I don't know anything about the guitar. Well, that was it. That was it. The guitar was it from now on. Nobody was bothering me. You know, nobody would bother me when I'm playing the guitar. So that's how I got started playing. And then later on, my dad would buy me, you know, my first guitar. So that's kind of how I got started.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
interesting. That's interesting that your independence was revealed at an early age. You know, you wanted to do something that was unique to yourself, that you could express yourself in, as opposed to having something, you know, another instrument where other people could perhaps, without saying this meanly, impose what they want on you as a musician. And you know, isn't that interesting? Because I think that probably attests to the creativity that you had in you, where you just wanted to reveal yourself a little bit more, and you certainly probably did over the years with the guitar.
Yeah, and so my first guitar I had was a Mickey Mouse wind-up.
Awesome.
I broke the strings on that one.
Oh.
Very, very soon after I got it. I mean, I went crazy, you know. It was a Mickey Mouse one. So, but I started playing at 9. And my dad bought me, I don't know if you guys remember the Tiger guitars with the cardboard case. And it was a plastic amplifier. That was my first electric guitar. And it had what we now know is the old or former harmonica pickups that would slide into the harmonica. Where it's like a harmonica microphone. It would slide into the harmonica. That's what they used to amplify those guitars back then.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And the amplifier ran by batteries. So I was just the coolest kid in town, walking around with had tiger stripes on my cardboard case, walking around with my guitar and amp. So yeah, it was really cool. And then and I became a teenager, my dad bought me a Dan Electro Sears model with the amplifier in the case. It was heavy, carrying it around, but that was my really first good guitar. And of course I had an acoustic. I had a acoustic that I gave away, but those are my early guitars, and I practice like passionately, and I mostly play by ear, so.
Do you have any of those guitars, those early guitars, still in your possession, KJ, or have they?
Yeah,
like
I
a
have
lot of
one
things?
right. This one right here, my sister gave me.
Aww.
No, actually, I don't. I don't have one. Don't have them. I gave my acoustic away, and I probably sat on my M&E and cracked it or something. I don't know.
How did you get involved in playing music professionally? Was that something that you decided early on when you discovered the guitar and found that this was something that you could express yourself in? Was that a choice you made early, or was it something that you fell into through another way?
No, I fell into it kind of. What happened was, in high school there would be these talent shows, and
Yep.
from those talent shows spun off bands. So if you were in a band in high school, you became real popular.
Yeah.
So after high school, I would have people coming from way out looking for me. So I ended up in a band with another female bass player, and we the last name, it was something New Breed at first, or something new, and then we changed the name to Nice and Tight. But that was really a long standing one for me. I would even drive up to the rehearsals and things like that. That was more, I was more active in that band. But yeah, so everybody just kind of networked, and in the early days, that's how I got started, playing gigs and things. And later on, I would, before that, I had a little brush with, I don't know if you guys heard of Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hello.
Okay. Well, Kool and the Gang, I don't know what year this was, but back when I was about 19, Kool and the Gang had a guy sort of mentoring young musicians, and they would come to a place called I think the town in New Jersey was called Communipaws, because I'm from New Jersey, so
Oh yeah.
that's another story, spring off story too, branch off. But so there was Kool the Gang had a brother. Kool, the bass player, had a brother named Kevin Bell, and his group was called the KGs. Well, we were gonna go on tour with the KGs. I was in Tomorrow's Edition, but that never got off, the ground. So I had like a couple of hit and misses in that respect. And so, but in high school, how I got into the Hendrix thing was I was at a party and someone put a record on. It was Astro Man. And I was like, what is that? Oh, that's terrible. It was a horrible sound to me, Astro Man.
Yep.
But then after Jimmy, we found out he was gone, it was like his spirit went into me, and I was just totally obsessed with his music from that point on.
Wow.
But the other professional things that I did was sort of later, after being possessed, so to speak. I mean, his music was so infectious and reached a lot of people that, you know, I was really, really went in my soul, you know. But I grew up playing, you know, R&B, James Brown stuff, and a lot of disco, and a lot of top 40.
What year did Hendrix died in?
1970. 1970.
Okay.
September 18th, 1970.
September 18th, 1970. Yeah, I think that record album, like I said, it was posthumous. So I don't even know why I had it. Go ahead.
The one for the gig we did?
No, what did I say it was called? Hold on. Cry of
Love? Yeah.
Yeah, I just had that in my record collection and I was looking it up. Billy wasn't on it, but he signed it anyway. I think it was Mitchell. And,
Billy's on that, I think.
No, I don't
Is
think
there,
so.
If there's a song called Polly Gap, Billy's on it.
Somebody in the chat Google.
Polly, if that Polly Gap is on there, then I think Billy's on it, or maybe he's not on that one.
I don't think he is, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Right.
We're on your story. Go.
Okay, so where were we?
Where
were we, Holly?
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Oh no, the KGs.
The KGs. Okay.
Right. So then I did most of North Jersey stuff, you know.
Wow.
And then what's more East Coast? So what can I say? I mean, everybody has gaps and things that they do. So I don't know how to fill in the gaps here, but I'll try to do the best I can.
Can I ask you just a couple of questions, KJ, before you go on?
Please do.
Yeah. So, we're always fascinated by the music that Jimi Hendrix left us in that short period of time that he had. And we love dispelling the myths that's that's been propagated around Jimi Hendrix, you know, that he was this wild man, etc., etc. And certainly there were occasions where he enjoyed himself, but he was very much a focused musician. You know, it was very focused in the studio. But what specifically about Jimi Hendrix's music attracted you when you first heard him? What was it? The blistering power of those guitar solos? Was it the guitar tone on some of the other songs, or the way that he sung? Was there one thing that gripped you about him?
No, not one thing at all.
Wow.
Not one thing at all. The first thing that got a hold of me, where I had to rehearse, you know how we rehearse with the music playing.
Sure.
Was greatest hits.
Okay.
A lot of musicians played Little Wing from the Axis Boldest Love album, but some of the songs that were on the other albums weren't on the greatest. They were on the greatest hits, and I learned how to play Hendrix through the greatest hits album. So each song touches me. Like, you have to name the songs, because mostly attracted me to Jimmy was the way he arranged them and the way his guitar playing would speak to you. Okay. And everything seemed to fit together with him. He came up with the sing-song voice and singing. He knew just where to put it. You know, the arrangement and the dynamics is what got a hold of me. And of
Sure.
course, being a guitar player and coming up, like you were saying, Led Zeppelin earlier, wanting to play those tunes, wanting to play Deep Purple, wanting, listen to all that stuff, that tone, that distortion, wanting to capture that yourself,
Yep.
that's what any lead player would go after. But as far as Jimmy goes, it was the way he presented everything.
Wow. So did you play? Was your Stratocaster a right-handed Stratocaster that you played left-handed, or did you go straight to a left-hand Strat?
Well, that's interesting. I went through phases.
Okay.
I had I had a Guild. My first good electric was a Guild. It was a right-handed because you couldn't find left-handed guitars, or you had to pay extra for them.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was funny because a lot of, like this one guy in particular who he's still a dear friend, but he was very mentoring, and he's responsible for me being as good as I am, because he would always say, I don't know. And I'll be like, I want to come and jam stuff. Well, we don't know, your guitar doesn't stay in tune. Mm-hmm. And that was because I would just change the strings around and, just play it the way it is.
Sure.
So I went through that phase of having guitars where I would just, no nut was constructed. It was the same nut, and had to put paper in where the E string was
Yeah.
to keep it from buzzing, because, that's what you had to do. I mean,
Yeah.
So I went through that. And then later on, I got my cousin gave me this beautiful Stratocaster. I still have it. And a guy reconstructed a left-handed nut for me.
Cool.
Oh, are you waving at me, Holly?
I'm waving at people in the chat, my love. Mwah.
Well, are they waving with a hand?
Yes.
Anyway.
No. People are saying hello.
oh, let me say hi. Oh, they're saying hi to you. Okay, anyway. They know you. That's why I wanted Holly to be on here, because she knows everybody. But anyway, but yeah, it's a challenge, and I have like 2 left-handed Strats now, because Strat is my favorite, guitar. I've had West Tones. I've had I think that's about it, either a West Tone or had Epiphones. I've had mostly Fender Strats though.
Can't go wrong with the Stratocaster. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I identify heavily with it, being a Hendrix enthusiast. So yeah. You can't. So what? How important was the amp setup for you? So you've discovered Hendrix. You're playing the guitar, KJ, and you're going through this Hendrix buzz that a lot of us go through. So I mean this respectfully. You could be tone chasing. So you're on the next part of this journey of amps. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about how you broached that issue? Well, nobody would want me to talk about amps because I
blow them up.
I don't care. I mean, I practice Jimmy songs so much, and if you hear me play,
yeah,
I practice them so much. It doesn't matter.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. She'll come back. She'll come back.
She'll be back.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. If you're watching on the replay and you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do. I'll make sure that...
did I blink out? Okay.
It's okay. Yeah, carry on.
All right. I never was like, oh, I have to have a Marshall. You know,
Okay.
I've got to have one to be complete. You know, I'm left-handed. I sound like Jimmy. That's enough
Yep.
for me. You know,
Cool.
I moved on. I'd rather have had a record deal or go on tour than to worry about an amp. But my favorite setup is I used to use when I was on tour for that month with the all-female band in '94. Um, I used those little PV stage amps, the little
Yes.
ones. I
Yes.
used that as a preamp, and my favorite amp, and I have one today. Is a
Wow.
Roland JC 120, and I
Oh, you
would
can't
feed
go
that
wrong
in it.
with one of those.
Yeah, I have that. I'm going to keep one of those. That's what I did in concerts, you know. So that's what I used for a long time. But now, you know, I'm using a different setup that we'll get to.
Yeah. Holly, do you have a question for KJ?
I was just jotting down a couple actually.
What? I thought you've known me all your life.
With the slight gap, KJ. Hey, did you ever get to go to Electric Land Studio?
No, Electric Ladyland, no.
Electric
I never did.
Ladyland? Sorry.
No, I never did. No.
Okay. And because you know who did? I think Van Halen went there, didn't they, Andrew, with Gene Simmons? Am I remembering
Correct.
that
I think you're right. Yes, that's where they did their
demo?
their demo. Yes. Yeah.
And KJ, you said you were going to mention something about Van Halen, but are we going to wait on that? Is that down the road?
I don't know. It has to do with artist.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So
okay.
when that comes up,
Okay. Okay. We'll wait.
I have actually too. I did you remember Ashford and Simpson?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, they had a club in New York, and they were
Okay.
given now I tried everything to get into the business full time, and they had a contest going, like a talent contest. So I entered it, and I played the Van Halen solo and beat it, and I did it as an instrumental.
What?
Yes, I thought I had this little thing going where my leg would go like this. Down, 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 down. I had a little act going on. And I had that video, but I lost it. And when I moved from I had that. Somebody made a video for me. But yeah, that's one of my Van Halen stories. Yeah. But he influenced my playing. I do a little Van Halen technique, you know.
Do you?
Just one, yeah.
The tapping?
Because he's so good. No, I just do tap on one string. That's as far as I got.
Well, hey.
But everybody looks at it and everybody, you know, I've gotten comments. Wow, that's really good. You know, but I'm like, I know it's only one string though. I don't know what they're talking about. So anyway.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
Okay. I don't know. This is not meant to be disrespectful, but I know you play with your teeth and behind your head, right? The Hendrix stuff.
Yeah, when I'm hungry, yeah. I play my teeth when I'm hungry, yeah.
You're like, we need some.
I'm like, we need a break. Here you go. This is my symbol. We need a break here, and I'm hungry.
Oh, when you're hungry. Okay. Okay. Now I got it. Okay.
No, we're not in hungry.
Hey, there's one of our friends is in Budapest right now. But anyway.
Oh, cool.
Have you ever gone so far as to set one of your guitars on fire? I mean, I'm just asking.
Oh, no, that is a good question. That reminds me of that contest I entered at the Stone. Have you heard of the infamous Stone Pony, Andrew?
No.
No, well, Bruce Springsteen made that famous. He used to play there all the time. Bruce Springsteen and the Stone Pony used to come there and play. Anyway, they had a contest, and it was an air guitar contest.
Oh.
And I did like a Rolling Stone. I think they must have played that record or something for me. And I did like a Rolling Stone where I did a forward roll like Jimmy did, but I had this flash paper and I set it on fire and I was going like this, like I was Jimmy on stage, and I had an air guitar playing it.
Oh, what?
So, so that's as far as I got.
That's awesome, man. That's totally awesome.
Yeah. Well, you're bringing up all this stuff, Holly. You're good.
Yeah,
What? It's
she
just
is.
questions that are coming. Go ahead, Andrew.
Look, I've got to ask this question.
Sure.
Question, KJ. It's
Okay.
an
Sounds
important
serious.
one. So, you know, being a woman guitar player playing Hendrix, what kind of barriers did you come across? You know, as far as you know that reality goes, was it something that you had issues with, or other people had issues with, or I'm not sure what the scene is like in the States, but here in New Zealand you don't get a lot of women playing Hendrix and rock guitar. So can you talk to us about that, please, KJ?
Okay, as far as the barriers go, I wasn't, no one was disrespectful, but I'm not like one of the fellas, you know. It's like,
Yeah,
it's no camaraderie there. I kind of had to make my own way, you know. It has to be that I've noticed so much. You gotta have me in the, you know, on a gig. You know, I had to build up my, had to be just as good as the guys and better.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that type of thing. But I've had, you know, situations where, especially, I was telling Holly, there's a jam session I go to each Tuesday, and there's a man named Jimmy Church. He's like a legend here in Nashville. He was the star of the Nashville Night Train television show. You know, it was the first black television show to air, you know, and they had all the, you know, in fact, Jimi Hendrix was on it. He's on, Holly, I sent you that link, but you've got to see that. Jimi Hendrix is in the background with his guitar doing the dances back then, on that Night Train show. He's playing behind two guys that are singing Shotgun. That's the infamous Jimi Hendrix video footage. You've got to see it, Andrew. I'll have to send you the link.
Thank you.
And so Jimmy Church heard me play, and he couldn't get over it, you know. I mean, I've been playing like this for years, but all of a sudden maybe I'm better. I don't know. So he's like, wow, you sound, he's telling the crowd she sounds like Hendrix, you know. So he lets me play the Hendrix stuff and do all that stuff, and he even named his son Jimmy.
Wow.
Jimi. His son is named Jimmy Church. Now he has his own band. They play each weekend. And, you know, he's out there for years, and he's a bass player and he sings quite well. He's just a real good, down-to-earth guy who helps everybody. So he is the first man that really tried to really help me. So he recommended me. There's a documentary coming out about the Night Train. I guess you would say players during that time, or the musicians around Nashville who became famous, and the Chitlin circuit, you know, and the places. Matter of fact, the places that everyone used to play at a place called the New Era. You know, everybody came. Sam Cooke. I Ike and Tina Turner, everyone, B.B. King, came to this place in Nashville back in the day.
Wow.
That is awesome. That's an awesome photo, KJ.
Yeah, and there's a guy who was doing the documentary, gave me this photo. He got it from the archives of the Nashville musicians. Hall of Fame. Nashville Musicians Hall of Fame. And he somehow got in the archives.
So, I'm sorry to interrupt, KJ. So are you in that documentary?
Yes, because of Jimmy Church, I'm in this documentary. It's not out yet.
Okay, when that documentary comes out, you and Holly will have to come back and we'll have to do a review of the documentary, please. Because that's wonderful. Thank you for mentioning that, because I'm really excited about that. Can I just ask a slight little detour question? So
sure.
So we have a picture of Nashville, being this country music capital, but you've just showed a photo there of a club which clearly had blues and rhythm and blues artists going. So there's this whole kind of history of blues in Nashville as well. Wow.
Yes, I didn't even know it. So, I would go down to this jam session at Carol Ann's. It's like a soul food cooking place. A lot of the, Black musicians go there, and it is, anyone can come down there, but it's mostly a hub for, us. And anyway, he has that, session, that jam session every Tuesday. But I was going there for years, and people would say, Jimmy Church, there's Jimmy Church, there's Jimmy Church. And I'm saying to myself, what is this? This guy must be locally important. He must be everybody loves this guy locally. That's what I was thinking. So then he started, giving me the spotlight, so to speak, at his jam sessions. And I have an open invitation. I can just walk in and start playing with the band, the house band. So I said, well, let me check out this guy, Jimmy Church. So I went on YouTube and I found all these videos of him singing on Night Train. And there was another, I forget the other show. Night Train is in black and white, and this show is in color. This other show, I can't remember who it was. But you'll see Billy on that show, and you'll see Johnny Jones. He's another player that came out of Nashville. I'm trying to remember this name, this show.
It wasn't Soul Train.
No. Okay. No. It's an. I didn't send you that link. If I had sent you the link, I could remember it. But
yeah, you did. But I just want to interject real quick that y'all need to go check out Jimmy Church on the black and white video. What did you send me the song?
I don't know what song. I don't know what song it was.
Dude, because he sang. I mean, it was amazing. This guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you can send me that link to Holly, and I'll attach that to this video.
Okay.
Folks, if you guys are watching on a replay and you want to go and have a look at all these links that we're talking about, they'll be on the replay. So if you can do that, Holly. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's okay. So if you guys keep talking, I might. Let me see.
Okay. You sent me the Jackie Shane Walking the Dog, but that's not Jimmy Church. But I remembered that song.
That's his show. That's the show Night Train that he's on.
Okay, because I remember
that same show
from Aerosmith.
Well, they did covers on this show. Okay. Like you see Jimi Hendrix playing behind two guys singing Shotgun.
Oh, Shotgun, Jimi Hendrix Band. Let me click on this. Maybe I can.
Right. You need to have that link in there too, because people who don't know the beginnings of Jimmy, get a first, glimpse of Jimmy doing his stuff. Where he had to, do routines. You heard Jimmy talking about, I used to have these, used to wear these shirts and do these routines. That is the video you've got to see. Yeah.
So this video that you're making reference to, I can't recall seeing it. I can't immediately remember. So this routine that you're talking about, KJ, would be similar to what he was doing on the Chitlin circuit.
Exactly. That's what it is.
That's why we need to see it. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Cool. Yes. It's all about Night Train to Nashville or something like that's called. But I got maybe at another time I can bring that other link up that had Billy on there playing in the band, Johnny Jones. That's pretty cool too.
Fantastic. I just want to. There's a great little comment here by John ZD351, and it just goes back to what we we're talking about just a little bit earlier. But he says it sucks that ladies need to be twice as good to get half the recognition as far as music and being a guitar player. He's 100% correct there.
Thank you, John Z351, because we do. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a guitar player, but I was a keyboard player and a singer, and it's like twice the work, and you have to put. Thank you for acknowledging us.
I have a good friend who's a bass player. He was a bass player of Arrested Development.
Oh.
And he explained it to me. I mean, this guy, he's my homeboy. Now, we grew up kind of together. He's from New Jersey too, but he lives in Georgia now. And he explained it to me that there's a guys don't like females doing what they do. And I'm just learning this from him, So that's partly it too. I mean, if you're, it's like, but us, right, Holly, we don't mind male cooks, right? I mean, who was like saying, men shouldn't be cooks, So I don't get it, and I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. I just try to relate to people, who they are. I mean, if I run up, if I see a guy, in the store or a female in the store and they say something to me, I try to relate back to them. I don't look at them like, I wonder if they like female guitar players. They don't look at me like, I wonder if you like, Spanish people.
Everybody should be equal. Everybody should be equal. And, if you're the person for the job, then you should be hired, for the person for the job.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the great things about music, and I'm not saying that music's perfect as far as the way that it's treated people, but and we take certainly, KJ, what we do here on our small little channel seriously as far as focusing on those positive things about music. And Holly and I spoke about this a couple of days ago. Without music being part of our lives individually, who knows what kind of person I would be. And I know because I'm talking about music, because I'm listening to music, because I play a bit of music, that's always something that's given me some optimism in the future. So, the fact that you girls are on here on our show, our first official female guest on the show is again a celebration for us and a celebration for what we want to do with our love of music, if that makes any sense to anybody.
Well, we don't have any audio of that gig, but the background singers were just amazing.
Do you want me to? I think this might be an opportunity now for us to throw up those photos. What do you think? Let's put up these photos, and you guys can talk about them.
Well, that's me and the guitar. That's the guitar my cousin gave me. That's the one that's right-handed, like Jimmy plays.
Oh.
And that's Trez's little beads, whatever she had on. we were trying to dress like 70s, I guess.
We were. There's KJ rocking it out. Now, KJ was going to ask you, did you do most of the singing as well at this gig?
Yeah, I did. And
The
along with
singing.
Billy, yeah. And then Trez did one song, I believe.
Oh, yeah, she did. Was it People Get Ready?
I think,
look at my book.
I think it was.
Hey, there's my nose hairs. I hope you enjoy those.
I can't see them from here, Holly. I don't have glasses on.
It's just such
I know there's R.I.P. Gary.
Oh, Gary.
Yeah. He was a character.
Tell me about playing with him.
He was a character. We didn't play. I wanted to play When Cries Mary, but we couldn't agree on the key.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Jimmy played in E flat, and if you tune the E flat and play When Cries Mary, you'll be playing it like it was in E. But we never tuned the E flat because Billy wasn't tuning the E flat. So.
Oh, that's.
Oh, look at her.
Look, I look just the same. Wait.
What was she? Where were you going that night?
I was going to a gig. This is one of the pictures I took of. Trez took that of me in the hotel room.
Oh my goodness!
And then I took one of her. She was putting her makeup on in the mirror, but the mirror was really old and like it looked like it put this black thing across her face.
It was a psychedelic.
It was a psychedelic. Yes.
Yeah, psychedelic mirror.
Okay, I snagged this picture of Gary from his Facebook page because.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a great one.
I just miss him.
Now yeah. Gary would have been good as far as everything on the guitar, the tone. If Gary was living and he came on with us, the viewers would get the lowdown on the pickups. I know he was using Seymour Duncan stacks on that guitar. Okay. He told me that, yeah, and he knows all about that stuff, not me.
He knew everything Hendrix. Like he was even in touch with, and I don't know the person's name, but I want to say Janie or somebody like that. Like he was so into Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could have answered any question anybody.
That's right. That's right. About Hendrix. Oh yeah.
This is Trez. She was the other backup singer with me. Again, the photo was taken from the audience, dude. But she's just amazing, and she went on to sing with Brooks and Dunn, and she's so awesome and so beautiful and so talented.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. And guys and gals who are watching this video, you can look up on YouTube some of these people's names, and there are videos of them doing whatever. I just found a funny video of Trez singing to Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, she was singing for tips during the pandemic on Facebook Live. I mean, she just never stops.
She never stopped.
No,
she's
she
amazing.
Just keeps going. Yeah.
Hey, so what songs did you sing at the gig? There's Billy. I think I snapped that photo of him probably before or after the gig. Probably after. What songs did you sing?
I have a set list here that was probably the one we used.
Oh my God, do you have a real actual set list?
Yeah, but not from that gig. But I have a misnomer here that I was gonna. When you're done with the photos, I can show you.
Yeah, we're done with the photos.
Okay.
Thanks, Andrew, for showing those. Thank you.
So here's Billy and his best friend, Nick Nixon.
Okay, make it closer to the camera. It's weird, isn't it? Everything's backwards.
I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, Billy and
I
Nick
took
Nixon.
this. Yeah, Gary and I were sitting there watching them. This was there was a night train exhibit going on. Like the night train show, they had an exhibit. Okay,
Right.
so they played a gig, I guess, supporting that event. And
Gotcha.
Gary and I were sitting in the audience, and Billy gave a shout out to us. And then, so here's Nick Nixon. So I'm showing you this picture to show you the set list. And I played local gigs with those two. And this is probably what we did. And Nick would sing, "People Get Ready," and "It's All Right." So
Wow.
Trez probably sang those two tunes or one of them. I did
Yeah.
Hey Joe, and I either sang Red House or Billy sang Red House.
Bye,
I'm not
Andy.
sure.
Yeah, I remember you singing Hey Joe for sure.
So I know definitely I sang that. So
I wonder who sang Purple Haze.
I might have. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. You got a set list. That's great.
Wow.
Who sang Voodoo Child?
I don't know. I don't remember. Girl, I barely remember being at the gig.
Well, you got a lot of memories that I have forgotten.
Well, that's because I did some research. Let's see. Oh, you have a video. You took or had somebody take a video of this?
No, I had a video a camera on stage that took the side view of everybody.
Okay.
And that's where that picture came from. No, that picture came from Michelle Sarah. But I had a video that I took, and it wasn't the greatest angle.
Right.
But if we had that video, we could at least hear what we sounded like, you know.
Which we may or may not want to know, but
right?
But no. I would. Okay, so I talked to Gary's daughter, Jamie, and I sent her the link to this video. I don't know if she's watching or not right now, but hi, Jamie. And she said that because you gave your video to Gary, right? And he was going to put it on a DVD.
Yeah, and you got that text. That's what
and
he was talking about
in my messenger, and then he passed away. And so Jamie said that most of his belongings are at her mom's house. So that video is probably in a box, and when and if she can get around to looking for it. Jamie, if you're watching this, we would really, really appreciate trying to find that video. Because we're playing with the legend. I'm just saying. And KJ's a legend, and it's
right.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm a legend in my own mind.
What did Andrew? KJ said something so funny to me the other day. She said, "Yeah, Holly, you sang at the gig, and then you went back and sang in the shower." Went back to singing in the shower. Not true.
No. But anyway, those we were talking about the gig. Okay, so I don't think I have anything else. Did you show him the itinerary? We showed him that already.
Yeah, I kind of didn't want to show everybody's names and stuff, so I just kind of flashed it in that book. I said a little bit about it.
Well,
I know they spelled my name wrong, but they spelled a couple of people's names wrong. And what about Chucky the drummer?
Well, what was his name? Anthony somebody? Who was that guy who just said?
Kendall
Anthony. Okay.
But you said somebody
we ended up with Kendall Anthony, but a guy named Chucky Burke, who played with Bo Diddley and some other people, was supposed to play with us. And I'm playing with him every Tuesday. He's the drummer for the house band at Carol Ann.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. I'm just saying.
So can I ask a question? So you guys obviously hung out with Billy Cox and spent a bit of time with him. So, you know, what's he like?
Oh
you
gosh.
knew that you knew that you're in the presence of rock royalty. So how are you approaching that? Are you being cool, or are you just being are you being normal around him? And tell us that experience.
I was freaked out. I could not play. I can't play with Billy. I can't play with him.
Wow.
I can go everywhere else and exhibit my talents, and people will go, "Wow, you're fantastic." I get with Billy. He's telling me we did some local gigs. He goes, "We can't even hear you." And then if I'm playing, maybe I don't know, maybe if I gotten better or something, but he would turn around, look at me, what I was doing, and that was it. I mean, I'm like froze up. I was like, I can't play with him. But we can sit and talk and laugh. We have a mutual friend. If three of us get together, I'm on the floor laughing at those two. You know, we're good as people together, but playing with him, I can't do it. I have to play. If I was asked to go on the Experience Hendrix tour, which I probably would never, but if I was, I could not be on Billy's song and Billy's, set. I have to be with some other guys because it's too much pressure.
Wow. I
That's
cannot even imagine.
That's interesting that you should say that, because I want to get your opinion, Holly and KJ, on Band of Gypsies. When I first heard Band of Gypsies, Machine Gun, and that was later on. I discovered Jimi Hendrix like a lot of us, and around those important ages, when you're a young person. But it wasn't until I was in my 20s when I seriously sat and listened to Band of Gypsies. He's doing a whole different thing with Band of Gypsies, isn't he?
Yes, I got to talk to Buddy Miles one day. I was over at Billy's house, and Buddy called, and he put him on the phone. Buddy's sister had just passed, and him and Billy were talking, and they put him on the phone, and I got a chance to speak to him. That was quite a thrill, But the Band of Gypsies album is an album into itself. I mean, it's just. Machine Gun is just a masterpiece of guitar, and the expression in it. And when he tunes the guitar at the end, that boom, bing, 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 bing. It's like, I don't know how many times I've heard that. I cannot do that part, But I do play. Who Knows? I've done that. That's one of the songs I've practiced. Who Knows? Then the other side of the album, Message of Love. I like that one. Buddy Miles, Them Changes. I played that live, with people. And
Them Changes is just another fantastic song on that album. How old were you, KJ, when you discovered Band of Gypsies? Was that around the same time when you discovered Jimi Hendrix? Were you listening to the whole catalogue, or were you progressing?
I was progressing. Like I said, I had cassette tapes. I have, I still have them on Reprise Records. And the little sponge on one of them I had to replace. So, so that's that's how old they are. And then, so I had Axis Bold as Love, Greatest Hits, and then I've got some documentary for cassette thing that I copied from someone, and mostly was the greatest hits and Electric Ladyland. I've got that, you know. Then that was when I first discovered Jimmy. Then later on, when I started playing in bands, I got the album, the Band of Gypsies album, and a lot of his different albums, Cry of Love. I still have, I don't know if I have it where I can grab it. I still have one of his older, hold on a second, I've got one of his older Beginnings album. Hold on.
Ooh,
Yeah, no problem.
I want to see that. That would be nice.
What about you, Holly?
You know,
When she gets back, maybe you can tell us about how you discovered Jimmy too.
well, Jimmy's just kind of like Van Halen with me.
Okay.
That he was just there everywhere.
Okay.
He wasn't a deep study for me because I wasn't a guitar player. But you know, he was in the world of music that I was living in the 60s and 70s.
Sure.
You know what I'm
All right.
saying?
So
Did you
know,
find it?
everyone knows this one, right? Are You Experience?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay, so look at that. It's falling apart, but I still have it.
You
But
still
here's
have it.
here's Jimi Hendrix. I don't know if anybody has this one. Jimi Hendrix Moods.
Uh-oh. Hold it. Okay, Jimi Hendrix Moods. Now, are these
Moods.
original copies
Yes.
from back in the day? Wow.
I don't know. I acquired it to hear what
Oh.
he sounded like before he
No
sounded
cares.
like.
I'm just kidding.
Is that
Sorry.
Jimmy's? Oh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's one of them. Here's another one that maybe nobody might have.
Okay.
Another early Hendrix.
What?
It's got Get That Feeling, Happy Birthday, Hush Now. Hush Now is one that I like.
Not familiar with that album at all.
Me
It's
either.
no, it's a song.
Oh.
This was said as printed in Germany.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Yeah. So I've got those two. Like,
What? Did that say Day Tripper by the Beatles?
yeah, it might be. Here's my Band of Gypsies album.
Nice. Oh, I'm glad your albums are like mine. They got stuck together.
Good.
No,
Is there a little?
I've got mine in the ones I really like in plastic, like Are You Experience? And this is from the Jimi Hendrix movie. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Mandatory.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good. When I saw that movie, I discovered Jimmy and I both would curl up our strings at the top on the headstock instead of cutting them. That was eerie for me to see that.
Wow. Girl, you just channel him, don't you? Just channel him.
Exactly.
That's so cool. You have all those records.
Yep, my dad kept them for me when I moved from New Jersey. And after my dad passed away, well, when he had to go in the nursing home with my mom, I had to go through all the stuff and organize everything and take care of stuff. So I found him. He had kept them for me.
Yay. My mom kept all my record albums, but she put them out in the garage. So the records
here
are okay,
is,
but all the covers got stuck together.
All right, my most memorable moment, Hendrix moment, is when I got to. Did you know this, Andrew? I got to sit in with Noel Redding.
Oh yes.
So I'm glad you mentioned that because I heard that Holly mentioned that. So this is a perfect opportunity for you to tell us about that experience.
Here it is. I was a foxy lady then.
Ooh, foxy lady.
And Noel was a perfect gentleman. When he passed you by, you couldn't
Wow.
even feel his presence. He was the perfect English gentleman.
Oh.
And that was the highlight of my Hendrix moments.
You got to play
Wow.
with Noel Redding.
Yeah, I got to sit
Wow.
in with him. And you know how, here's the back, you want to hear the backstory to that?
Please tell us.
Okay. There was a female band called the Cactus Cowgirls. Okay. And we were rehearsing in New York. So during this rehearsal, they were discussing, the structure of the song. Somebody wasn't doing what they were changing how they wanted to do it or whatever. So whenever I was in the band in the, early days, I would get so bored because I just had the stuff down pat and I didn't, I don't have to listen to them. I was play When Cries Mary, fool around with, Hendrix stuff in between until they're ready to start playing again. We were in this rehearsal studio. And when you're in New York, you always hear bands playing a little Hendrix something, right? While at rehearsal. So I heard these people playing Hendrix music in the next rehearsal. So I came out and was talking to the guy at the desk because, I get a calling when I hear Hendrix music. I want to know what's going on.
Sure.
So the guy goes, I said, oh, there's somebody in there playing Hendrix. So he goes, oh, that's Noel Redding in there playing Hendrix.
Oh my.
I said, no, it is not. I said, stop playing with me. I said, it is not Noel Redding in there. You just pulling my leg. No, I'm serious. It's Noel Redding in there. No, guy, I don't believe you. This Noel Redding is not in there. So I went back in the room.
Oh no.
And so they started playing and stuff, and then practicing. We did rehearsal, and then I guess we stopped for some reason. So the guy came in and said, Noel Redding is in there. I'm going to go get him. So he goes in the room and gets Noel Redding. Noel Redding sticks his head into our rehearsal room and goes, when you're finished here, come over and have a doobie.
Oh. A doobie?
Yes.
Okay.
And we did. So I went over there and I'm saying to myself, oh no, I'm going to be in here with Noel Redding. I said, I have got to do something Hendrix in here. So I said, I know I can't say, I play guitar like Hendrix. You've got to let me play. I said, I got to play cool. I've got to, just do what I can, what they let me do. Don't be pushy, right? Okay. So they started doing Hey Joe. So I said, well, I've got to do something to feel like I did something with Noel Redding. So I started singing Hey Joe. Well, after Hey Joe was over, he said, come down and sit in with us this Saturday. I've never heard a woman sing Hey Joe.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
that's what I was doing. And I did the playing with my behind my head and with my teeth, as you can see, so.
Oh my God. That is so awesome.
So
KJ.
I got to play with both the bass players. And then, so are you guys still there? So,
Yeah.
Okay. So, you just, Billy gave me this. Okay. This is him. He's a 2KJ.
Oh.
Wow.
And, at one of the Hendrix Experience Hendrix shows. And then this was from one of the Experience Hendrix shows. If you come to one, you can get a purchase a 8x10 and he'll sign it for you.
That's so awesome. Wow. What a story. What an amazing story. Wow, KJ.
And
so there's a
and
couple of
then
comments here, KJ, before we carry on. So Ed's saying, excellent, smoking a doobie with Noel.
Yes.
Fruitcake Tony's saying, wow, played with Noel. That's awesome. Jeff T is saying, that's an awesome story. You played your cards right.
R.I.P. Noel. But yeah, he was a perfect gentleman.
Wow.
That's what I remember most about him. Oh, and he called me Jimmy's little sister.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Man. No.
Now he's got stories. He's had a story about Jimmy. He said they used to call Jimmy henpecked because all the women would rule him, you know, sort of.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's because women rule.
What do you think of the film that came out a few years ago with Andre 3000 acting as?
I saw that.
Yeah. So KJ and Holly, tell me your thoughts about that film, and I'll tell you mine if you don't mind.
Well, my thoughts about it are that he had the dialect down pat.
Correct.
And the work that he put into it, I read about the work that he put into it. He learned how to play the guitar, both left-handed and right-handed. I guess Jimmy did that. But he put a lot of work into that role. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, look, I'm going to jump in here, Holly, before you give your opinion.
I didn't see the movie, so
well, you can give your opinion anyway.
It's fantastic. KJ is right. You know, Andre 3000 just did a perfect job. It's almost as if it's eerily spooky, you know. There's got some Jimmy vibes going on there.
Yeah.
The sad thing about it though is that they could not use the bloody authentic soundtrack. That if there is
you mean the Hendrix tunes? Yeah.
Yes.
They couldn't use the songs that Jimmy wrote. They had to use, other licensed songs. Yeah, the estate, Hendrix estate is strict on that.
Yeah. What a shame.
But Holly,
what a shame.
Holly, you didn't see the movie, but do you like the song? I like the way you move. I like the way you move. You like that, right? That Andre 3000 song?
Of course. Absolutely. Who wouldn't? Oh my God!
Well, Andre 3000 and Big Boy, is that correct? Who was his singing partner?
I don't know. I just know Outkast and Andre.
Yeah. Oh,
I love.
We're going back a long time now. But that was a great song when that came out. I'm just floored, like a lot of people here. Robert Redford saying something. A very good friend of the channel, KJ and Holly. He's saying, I missed the Noel Redding story. Gonna rewatch this. So yeah, it's well worth it. It's well worth going back. Well, Noel Redding, and we've spoken about this before when we've ranked the tracks, KJ and Holly. We can't discount the influence that Noel and the drummer
Mitch Mitchell
had and provided Jimmy. Because we talk about Jimi Hendrix and the Jimi Hendrix Experience, but we've got to put it into context, don't we? Because they were certainly a tight three-piece band, weren't they, KJ?
Yes, but they weren't happy.
No,
they weren't happy. But incidentally, Gary Sirkin, when we were at NAMM, when Billy was endorsed by Court, that's when we were all, Billy, Gary, myself, we were kind of a little bit closer then. But Gary is the guy who introduced me to Mitch. And the way he introduced me, he goes, there's Mitch, the elusive Mitch Mitchell. And sure enough, I said, hi, how you doing? And he said, hi. And he was gone. He was gone. He wouldn't stay in one place. Yeah, he was in the elusive Mitch Mitchell is what Gary called him. Yeah.
Drummers, where do they go? They're there, and then
yeah, he wouldn't. He's always on the go, I guess.
Wow, that's really cool that you got to meet him as well. Yeah, Steve Williams was trying to give me some history of Hendrix, and like it seems like you helped me out with this, KJ. Like Hendrix and Billy were at Fort Campbell together.
Yes, they were. That's how they met.
That's how they met.
Yeah, they met. Like, they were army buddies.
Yes, and then they came to Nashville. And the main part that I remember is that Jimmy got a call to go get a record deal or whatever in England or whatever. And Billy's like, no, I can't go. I got to pay for this amp. Is there something? Do you?
No, I don't recall that. I mean, Billy's told me a lot of stories.
Okay.
But he said, him and Jimmy used to gig all around Nashville. Jimmy used to live at Joyce's House of Glamour. Like there's an album, something of the town that Gary has a track on. And I don't know if you go on Gary's Facebook page, there's some steps and no house. That's where Jimmy lived.
Oh, okay.
At Joyce's House of Glamour.
Okay.
And Billy and Jimmy played around Nashville locally. Now, Billy, the last thing I remember Billy telling me is that he had some kind of Cadillac that only drove backwards. or couldn't drive backwards or something. Maybe it was something was wrong with it. Anyway, they used that to do gigs,
right.
Travel around. But yeah, Billy's got some funny stories.
Oh, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear him. Yeah, well, did Billy at some point go to Memphis, perhaps?
I don't know. I don't recall that.
Yeah, I don't want to say a bunch of stuff that I'm not 100% clear on, so I'm going to leave that there. But what I don't know if Andrew has left. He's like, these ladies are taking over my show. But I would like to see some of your guitars. Were you going to do that?
Well, yeah, I was going to try to play something, but I don't know if we're going to have time for that.
Oh, Andrew, he literally has left us.
Andrew, is it over? Is the show over? Ooh, Andrew.
Oh my God,
Andrew. He's back.
We're like, the show is over.
We're just spooky.
No, it's not over. Quite yet. KJ, you were in the green room there early on. You were doing some sound checks for us.
Yes.
Do you want to? This is a good opportunity. Do you want to grab your guitar and do a bit of playing for us? Is that something you'd like to do for us now?
Yeah, as long as you have earplugs.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to present you, and if you want to grab your guitar and play for a couple of minutes, I'm sure people will appreciate that.
I will, but I must say, I'm going to be in the zone, so I'm not going to have my headphones on. So if I'm on too long, just cut the show. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
As Jimmy would say, is it too loud? And what you do is you give me a signal, down signal, and then I'll turn it down.
I will
give me a down signal.
BRB. BRB.
Like down if it's too loud. So, because I won't be able to hear you. Andrew, I play with a synth guitar now, so that's what I'll be using. It's a Roland GR55. Hey Joe, hey Joe. Hey Joe, where you going with that gun in your hand? Hey Joe, where you going with that gun in your hand? I'm going down to shoot a little lady. You know he caught her messing around with another man. And he's going down to shoot his old lady. You know he caught her messing around with another man. And that ain't too cool. Hey Joe Center, heard you shot your woman down. Hey Joe Center, heard you shot your woman down. You shot her down to the ground. Yes, he did, he shot her. You know he caught his old lady messing around now. Yes, he did, he shot her. You know he caught his old lady messing around town. He gave her a gun, he shot her. Hey Joseph, where you gonna run to now? Hey Joe, where you gonna run to now? Where you gonna go? He's going way down south, way down to Mexico way. He's going way down south, way down where he can be free. Ain't no one gonna find him on me. Ain't no hangman gonna hang on, put a rope around Joe. Oh, no, no. Hey, Joe, you better run on down. Goodbye, everybody.
Wow. Wow.
Wow, KJ.
Did you like that?
Yo, sister.
Oh, I was gonna say your house is on fire.
The roof is on fire.
Ed is saying that's awesome. And Jeff is saying sweet. So, folks, depending on what happens here with YouTube,
Yeah. Copyright.
with copyright on this, if we can share the copyright with the Hendrix Experience or whoever owns the song.
No, that's what's his name? Roberts. It's not Jimmy. Yeah, the Roberts guy wrote that.
Yeah. Yeah. So depending on what happens, we may be able to keep the video on this video. If we get blocked, we'll have to take the sound out. But at least the 7 or 8 people that were here watching it live got to hear that, KJ. It's one of those interesting things with YouTube. Sometimes they'll keep the video, or sometimes they might want to block it. And it's really important then for us to make sure we have this video up for other people to watch if they decide to block it. Does that make sense?
YouTube, please don't block it.
Yeah. Please don't block it. Yeah, well, Fruitcake's saying it quickly now. Download it quick.
Yeah. Somebody do that. Download it quick.
I never thought of that workaround.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's one of those weird things. We've done this before, KJ and Holly. We've had we've had guitar playing, and sometimes they'll allow it. And when you're a monetized channel, that's okay. The 2 cents goes to the person that owns the copyright. But sometimes, depending on the publisher and the record companies, they'll completely block the whole video. So yeah. So you'll have to go and re-edit. Yeah. Well, it's YouTube.
Well, if they block it, I'll come back on with my songs that sound like Hendrix.
You're coming back anyway. You're coming back. It's been a pleasure, KJ and Holly, to have you on our channel. In fact, we've already planned another show together, haven't we? When that documentary comes out. Any idea when that documentary is coming out?
It was supposed to have been out like months ago. I've got to talk to him about that and let him know that people are interested in it.
Can you let Holly and I know what's happening there? Because we'll do the best we can on our channel to promote that. If it's if it's going to be something that's going to be coming out, let us know, and we can promote that, because that's what we love doing here on this channel. We'll promote it. But nevertheless, even if that isn't going to come out in the foreseeable future, you're going to come back on. We have to do a part 2. We have to do a part 2 on this.
Well, I might be able to get the producer to come on with me.
Please.
And then he can. That'll. If it's not out anytime soon, he may even want to explain and tell. He's got a lot more detailed history of it.
Okay, well, share this link. Share this link with him and ask him and say, look, do you want to come on? We'll certainly love to have the producer on, and we can fire some questions and talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Holly is definitely going to come back and join us when we're going to do a Van Halen show in the future. We're planning something, so we do look forward to that. It's been a pleasure having Holly and KJ on our channel.
My pleasure.
Our first female woman guests that we've had on, and I'm sure, like I've just said, you guys will be on our show again.
Andrew.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And Holly also.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Holly.
Thank you, KJ. I'm so glad this worked out. I'm so honored to be on your show, Andrew.
Thank you.
I love your show. And how
Thank
cool is it that you have people from all around the world on your show? And we're just all blessed by you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for grabbing KJ and putting her on, and giving us an opportunity to talk with her. Look, we're a small channel, Holly, and we rely on people helping us, and we're just organic fans. We just love talking music, KJ, and getting together, talking guitars, music and bits and pieces like that. And everybody in the chat, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do. I will attach KJ's
go to Facebook.
Social,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
lady.
Yep. KJ will send all that stuff to me, and we'll make sure that we attach it to this video. Any other social media links, KJ, that you need, just fire them through.
Okay.
I'm going to give you, KJ, the final word before we flick the switch. Holly, thank you. KJ, thank you. Everyone in the chat, thank you. I'm not going to go and through and name you guys. You guys know who you all are. Thank you for hanging out with us. KJ, the last word up to you.
Okay. Peace out.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll.
Rock on.
Don't go away anywhere. I'm just going to play the end video. Don't go. Don't leave the stream yet, Holly and KJ.
Okay. Are we waving goodbye? Okay, we're waving goodbye.
Yeah,
bye.
Thank
you.